ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितान्तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। शुद्ध भक्ति चिंतामणि। बाह्य अंतर थार दुईत साधना बाह्य साधक देहे करे श्रवण कीर्तन मने निज सिद्ध देह करिया भावना रात्रि दिने करे व्रजे कृष्णेरा सेवना. There are two processes by which one may execute this Raganuga Bhakti, the external and internal. When self-realized, the advanced devotee externally examines like a neophyte and executes all the Shastric injunctions, especially those concerning hearing and chanting. But within his mind, in his original purified self-realized position, he serves Krishna in Vrindavan in his particular way. He serves Krishna 24 hours a day, all day and night. This is in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 22nd chapter, 156th and 57th verse. So we are entering into the chapter 12 of Spontaneous Devotional Service in Practice, part 2. The preceding chapter discussed and the principle of spontaneous devotional service. This chapter describes the activities devotees perform when influenced by genuine greed. Srila Rupa Goswami describes in 3 verses the activities of spontaneous devotional service in practice. This is given in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, 1st canto, 2nd chapter, 294 to 96th verse. We have paraphrased these 3 verses in following paragraph. There are 2 aspects of Raganuga Bhakti, external and internal. Externally, qualified devotees practice like neophytes and follow the scriptural injunctions of regulative devotion, especially those concerning chanting and hearing, as did associates of Lord Chaitanya, such as Rupa Goswami and others. Such qualified devotees also try to emulate the types of devotional service, types of services Lord Chaitanya's associates engaged in and offered, such as writing books, building temples, and other forms of giving Krishna consciousness to the conditioned souls. These devotees always think of Krishna, and in other words, no amount of imagination can cause the fruit of the perfection to ripen. Only Krishna's mercy can do that. Devotees must make themselves fit for Krishna's mercy by service and surrender if they wish to receive knowledge of their spiritual identity. So while performing our regulated devotional practice, which is never to be given up as long as we are existing on this planet, and we should continue meticulously, at least it will help others that we become example for them. But at the same time, we hide our internal identity by putting up practice that can be visible. A devotee always thinks internally in order to accomplish writing books, means all about Krishna. Prabhupada wrote books and built temples and showed everything. So those who are helping our Thailand project, they are also thinking about the internal meditation that is required to help out not only an edifice, but it's a sacrifice and loving devotion. So we are encouraged to understand, but we are also practicing, the external, what we call regulated devotional services, with rapt attention. It also hides our secrecy of internal meditation, because it does not expose to the neophytes, especially. They think we are just like them, and that is a good way to cultivate humility also. Certain pseudo-Vaishnavas interpret the verse under discussion to mean that a sadhak should follow the activities of Vrajavasis externally as well as internally. For example, a man will dress as a gopi and feign the voice mannerism of a young girl, thinking his activities to be sadhana. Nothing more needed be said of such sham in the name of devotion. Oh, glories to gopi dress. Please become serious while wearing gopi dress. It become a fashion now. Other pseudo-Vaishnavas remain in the dress of practitioners but neglect the sacred activities of sadhana bhakti. During Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's time, a disciple of Hemalata Thakurani, Rupa Kaviraj, propagated this deviation. He reasoned that since the gopis did not accept spiritual masters, observe Ekadashi, or worship either Shalagram Shila or Tulsi Devi, it was not necessary for sadhakas to do so. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur denounced this divergence from the truth and drove Rupa Kaviraj out of Vraja. Sometime later, Rupa Kaviraj left his body suffering from leprosy. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur kicked him out. Srila Prabhupada writes about another kind of deviation in which unqualified novices are assigned a spiritual identity at the time of initiation. The Siddha Pranali process is followed by a class of men who are not very authorized and who have manufactured their own way of devotional service. They imagine that they have become associate of the Lord, simply by thinking of themselves like that. This external behavior is not at all according to the regulative principles. In opinion of Rupa Goswami, such activities are simply disturbance to the standard way of devotional service. Nectar of Devotion, chapter 16, page number 127. Even the Shastric injunction is there that Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatri ki vidin vina aikanti ki harir bhakti utpattayat kalpate. This is also a continual application of one who imagines that he can enter into Siddha Pranali. Now, what is Siddha Pranali? Siddha Pranali process is followed by a class of men who are not very authorized to have, who have manufactured their own way of devotional service. They imagine that they have become associate of the Lord simply by thinking themselves like that. This external behavior is not at all according to the regulative principles. So, in opinion of Rupa Goswami, such activities are simply disturbance to the standard way of devotional service. What is the proper meditation? Then, for a sincere devotee who has not yet reached the dawn of perfection, but who is at the stage of spontaneous practice, the bona fide meditation is to remember the activities of Brajvasis to whom one has become attracted. For example, devotees attracted to the service of the cowherd boy Sridham may meditate on Sridham's beautiful features, how he jokes and plays with Krishna, how he tends cows during the day, and so on. Devotees attracted to the service of Rupa Manjari, the Siddha Rupa of Rupa Goswami, may meditate on how Rupa Manjari accompanies Srimati Radharani to her meetings with Krishna, how she anoints the divine couple with sandalwood paste, and how she fans them with a whisk. A question sometimes arises on the subject: how do devotees know which Vrajavasis to follow? The truth is that devotees qualified to cultivate such a relationship would not ask this question. The devotee's original relationship with Krishna is dormant within them. It is not something that is whimsically adopted. A natural and special appreciation for the pastimes of Krishna awakens in qualified devotees as they hear Srimad Bhagavatam and chant Hare Krishna. By continuously hearing and chanting, a sincere devotee is naturally drawn to a particular mood of service and to a particular Vrijvasi. In this regard, Srila Prabhupada writes, special natural appreciation of the description of a particular pastimes of Godhead indicates the constitutional position of the living entity. This is in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, 4th chapter, 34th verse. But listen, special natural appreciation, the description of particular pastimes of Godhead indicates constitutional position of a living entity. Eventually, devotees in spontaneous service follow the teachings and examples of sadhaka form of the eternal residents of Vraja. Gaudiya Vaishnavas follow the example of Rupa Goswami, the sadhaka form of Rupa Manjari. Thus, they are known as Rupanugas. Chaitanya Charitamrita describes Rupa Goswami's character, literary achievement, dedication to Lord Chaitanya, and excavation of many of Krishna's pastimes places. This is in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 19th chapter, 115 to 134 verses. The activities of Rupa Goswamis. So, devotees should meditate on and emulate the traits in service of Rupa Goswami by understanding the heart of his mission and then trying to assist him in spreading Krishna consciousness. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale. The Prema Bhakti Chandrika Mangala Charan, second verse is there. Sri Rupa Manjari. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. When Rupa Goswami will offer me Padantikam, the dust of his lotus feet at the Antikam means the extreme side of the toes. Members of ISKCON except Srila Prabhupada is also an eternal resident of Vrindavan, and his example is even more relevant to us. To be a member of ISKCON means to absorb in Prabhupada's personal qualities, compassion, preaching spirit, unparalleled achievement, and literary masterpieces. Srila Prabhupada's disciples have written many books to help devotees absorb their mind in Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada himself left an ocean of instructions in his writings, lectures, and conversation and correspondence. His followers may hear this instruction to remain fully connected with him, and in order to cultivate their desire to follow in his footsteps. In this way, ISKCON's members can practice remembering one of the Lord Chaitanya's confidential associates. The term sadhaka in the verse under discussion needs to be clarified. It generally refers to devotees who are not yet completely mature, but who are trying to achieve perfection through devotional service and practice. In this verse, however, the meaning of sadhaka rupa should be understood in another sense, that in the context of Sri Chaitanya's mission. Lord Chaitanya and his associate like Rupa Goswami appear by practicing Vaishnavas in order to taste the bliss of service in separation. Moreover, the sadhaka form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associate in this world are projections of their eternal identities in the Svetadvipa portion of Goloka. Wow. In other words, both the sadhaka rupa and the siddha rupa of Lord Chaitanya's eternal companions are perfected forms that represent the two different moods of devotion, one of aspiration of the perfection and other of engagement in perfection. Both are perfect. The term siddha rupa, when used, for example, to refer Rupa Manjari, does not imply that Rupa Goswami's sadhaka form is imperfect and temporary. The eternal companion of Lord Chaitanya are fully mature in devotion and in forms are perfect and eternal, as are those of their counterparts in Braja. So again, Chaitanya Rasangi Sange Nitya Siddha Karimane Jai Jai Brajendra Sutapas. Sadhaka Rupa has to meditate, on the eternal associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Sankirtan movement and how they glorifyingly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spread the movement, Sankirtan movement. And Prabhupada is the best example because he introduced so many applications of Sankirtan movement. Chanting on the streets, distributing books, then preaching the devotees, encouraging them to come to visit our temples, feed them Mahaprasad is also part of transcendental trickery to induce. Then engage him in whatever service they can render to the temple, to the devotees, and then gradually he will be fixed in Krishna consciousness and will try to please Krishna ultimately. So activities of the spontaneous practice, Rupa Goswami says that the second external aspect of spontaneous service is practice is the performance of regulated and devotional activities. Shravanot Kirtanadini Vaidya Bhakti Uditani to Yani Angani Chatani Atra Vignayani Manishibihi. Learned acharyas know that the 64 items of regulative devotion, beginning with hearing and chanting, are also useful in spontaneous practice. This is in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, first canto, second chapter, 296th verse. This verse makes clear that often mentioned expression, spontaneous service, does not depend on rules and regulations of the scripture. It is not a rejection of regulative devotional practice. Rather, it accepts that greed, not faith in scripture, is dominant impetus for Raganuga Bhakti. We have seen this. Thus, devotees who truly practice spontaneous devotional service do not reject the items of regulated practice, especially the important ones such as chanting Hare Krishna and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and worshipping the deity. The truth is quite the opposite. These activities are their life and soul. Foolish are those who, in the name of spontaneous devotional service, give up these Krishna conscious acts. In fact, one should avoid the company of such devotees because their advice and influence can divert even sincere practitioners from the true path of Krishna. This is in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 22nd chapter, 87th verse. Spontaneous devotees never neglect regulative practices, but they concentrate on those items of devotional service that further induce meditation on the Vrajavasis of their choice. For instance, they do not give up hearing, but spend more time hearing the particular topics that nourish their serving mood. Devotees attracted to loving exchanges between between Krishna and cowherd boys read books describing the Gopas. Devotees following the goddesses of Braja read about the gopis' special loves, services, and moods. At the same time, devotees rejoice in hearing Krishna's pastime with all the Brajvasis, despite their own aspiration to become followers of a particular associate of the Lord. For instance, followers of gopis eagerly take shelter of the Gopas, as Rupa Goswami does of Subala. Rupa Goswami is taking shelter of the Gopas like Subala. And yet he will be inclined and showing his eagerness to serve gopis, become a follower of gopi. Subala Ballava Varya Kumara Yoyo Daita Narma Sakhastvam Asivraje Ititayo Purato Vidhuram Janam Krishnam no Kshanam Anum Amam Kripayadaya Nivedya. O Subala, you are the intimate friend of the son of daughter of the best of the Gopas in Braja. Please be merciful and introduce this unhappy person to your two friends. This is in Utkalita Vallari. Utkalita Vallari 24. Rupa Goswami wrote this. O Subala, you are the intimate friend of the son and the daughter of the best of the Gopas in Braja. Please be merciful. Why he is called daughter also? You are the intimate friend of the son and daughter. Who are those?
I thought it might mean of Radha and Krishna, because they're son of one and daughter of another. That's my thought.
He is an intimate friend of son and daughter of the best of the Gopas in Braja. Who is he referring to? Haribol.
Subal is Radharani's brother, isn't he? Subal.
What is Radharani's brother's name?
Sridham Maharaj.
Sridham.
Eh?
Sridham.
Sridham. Is it Sridham?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
So, Subal is friend of Sridham. All right?
Yes.
And Sridham's sister is Radharani. Who is the best of the Gopas in Braja?
Nanda
Guru Maharaj,
Maharaj.
is it Nand Maharaj and
Nanda Maharaj.
Son and daughter of the best of the Gopas.
That'd be Kirtida and
Kirtida and Vrishabhanu. Is it not? Okay, we'll see. Refer. See the translation. O Subala, you are the intimate friend of the son and daughter of the best of the Gopas in Vraja. Please be merciful and introduce this unhappy person to your two friends. Introduce the Gopa as well as introduce me to Sridham. And Radharani in turn. So spontaneous devotees approach deity worship in a similar way. Although devotees never give up the service of their worshipable deity, their mood in worship changes along with their increasing absorption in Raj Bhakti. Instead of thinking of how to dress the deities of Radha and Krishna according to the rules of Archana, they dress them while thinking about how the Brajvasis do it. This does not mean that they concoct new modes of the dress for Radha and Krishna, however. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur adds submission to the spiritual master, Vishrambhena Guruho Seva, to the list of the indispensable items of the devotion. Vishrambena Gurur Seva. Guru Seva means the submission to the spiritual master is very indispensable item of devotion. In other words, a disciple advances on the path of spontaneous devotion. They never minimize or reject their preceptor's instructions. In addition to seeing their gurus as servant of Lord Chaitanya's mission, they begin to see them as servants of Radha and Krishna, as expressed in the 5th and 6th verses of Sri Gurvashtakam. Shri Radhika Madhavayorapar Madhurya Leela Gunarupanamna Pratikshana Swadana Lolupasya Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Raganuga Bhaktas retain the primary items of devotion, but they are selective about the secondary ones. They do not cultivate non-essential items of devotion once part of their regulative life that no longer serves the cause of spontaneous devotion. This discriminate attitude, something that must be employed with care, reflects the devotees' surrender to their chosen mode of service, anukulyena sankalpa. And in this way, a spontaneous devotee may give up things such as ritualistic hand gestures, mudra, branding the body with signs of Vishnu, and meditate on Krishna's Dwarka pastimes. See, they do not cultivate non-essential non-essential items of devotion once part of their regulative life. They no longer serve the cause of spontaneous devotion. So such non-essential items are not, being practiced anymore. This discriminate attitudes, something that must be employed with care, reflects the devotees' surrender to their chosen mode of service, anukulyasya samkalpa. In this way, spontaneous devotees may give up things such as ritualistic hand gestures like mudras, branding the body with signs of Vishnu, or meditating on Krishna's Dwarka pastimes. They are not essential. Because we are thinking of Braja under the care of Rupa Goswami, so naturally Dwarka's pastimes are not essentially our, in meditation. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur elaborates on how devotees cultivating spontaneous devotional service determine which practice to select. He divides these activities of bhakti into 5 categories according to how they affect the spontaneous mood, bhava. This is in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu Bindu of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, pages 134 and 35. The section beginning that Atra ayam vivekaha vrajalila. Things composed of bhava, means bhavamaya, those related to bhava bhava sambandhi, things favorable to bhava, bhava anukula, those not incompatible with bhava, bhava viruddha, and things opposed to bhava, bhava pratikula. Composed of bhava refers to the four primary mellows: servitorship, friendship, parenthood, and conjugal. Devotees cultivating spontaneous devotional service are drawn to one of these service moods, and every activity they perform is saturated with the flavor of the rasa. By related to bhava, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur means the primary limbs of devotion, such as chanting, hearing, and remembering Krishna's pastimes, and serving the spiritual master. These practices are indispensable because they help form and mature a devotee's spiritual disposition. If we need to progress, we should remember all this. At least we have to refer this book quite often in order to make a tangible progress by verification of this categorization and the requisites of the development of the powers. Composed of bhava refers to four primary mellows: servitorship, friendship, parenthood, and conjugal love. Devotees cultivating spontaneous devotional service are drawn to one of these services mood, and every activity they perform is saturated with the flavor of the rasa. By related to bhava, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur means that primary limbs of devotion, such as chanting, hearing, and remembering Krishna's pastimes, and serving the spiritual master, these practices are indispensable because they help to form and mature the devotee's spiritual disposition. So they have to be continued. Then there are related practices not indispensable but favorable to bhava. One should accept these practices because they are complementary. For example, one should observe Ekadashi, celebrate Janmashtami, accept vows during the month of Kartik, renounce sense pleasures to give Krishna satisfaction, and worship Tulsi Devi and the banyan tree. Then there are practices neither incompatible with the non-favorable to cultivating bhava. These practices are optional and neutral. Examples in this category are wearing the deity's flower garland or stamping the body with the Lord's name. Finally, opposed to this spontaneous devotion of Vrindavan are practices such as meditating on the service of Krishna's queens in Dwarka or affixing the mantras worshipping various deities to one's body. That is called nyasa. Devotees cultivating bhava according or should avoid such practices. So when we put tilak, Om Keshwaya Namaha, we should meditate on Keshava aspect. Narayana Namaha, Madhavaya Namaha, Govindaya Namaha, Vishnave Namaha, Madhusudanaya Namaha, Trivikramayana Namaha, Vamanaya Namaha, Sridharaya Namaha, Rishikeshaya Namaha, Padmanabhaya Namaha, Damodaraya Namaha. All these nyasas are practiced because it is part of the development. So we must put more attention while we perform. Generally, in second initiation, I try to instruct my disciples that you have to take 3 times bath, all right, and wear clean clothes, you have to, prior to that, you have to put the tilak, right? So before putting tilak, you do the Achman mantra, Vishesh Achman. So if you are engaged in deity worship, then you do not have to do Vishesh Achman, but Sadharan Achman. But after taking bath, one must take Vishesh Achman in order to worship with Nyasa, the different deities, Vishnu forms, throughout our body by touching with the thumb and lips and eyes and ears and heart and so on. But that is the nyasa. Then after that, they should put tilak, again chanting 12 names and meditate on those deities. Everything should be done while sitting, not standing up and do the tilak. So if possible, we should be strict on that. In Ramanuja Sampradaya, they have to sit down and put the tilak. Then last thing is chant your Gayatri while sitting. So 3 times bath, 3 times Gayatri will be done. And it is the saturation of our mood of second initiate that are given an opportunity to enter into a very serious thinking through meditation of the names while doing Anganyas. So, finally, opposed to the spontaneous devotional and Vrindavan are practices such as meditating on the service of Krishna's queens in Dwarka or affixing mantra worshipping various deities to one's body. Nyasa, a devotee is cultivating bhava should avoid such practices. If opposed to spontaneous devotional service of Vrindavan are the practices of meditating on service of Krishna's queens in Dwarka, or affixing mantras worshipping various deities on the body, anganyas, that a Brahman is supposed to do, the devotees cultivating bhava should avoid such practices, because they may put different moods which may not be congenial, and their Brajavasi bhava will be completely dominated by Vaikuntha bhava. When they meditate on the 4-armed Vishnu forms, which are located in the different parts of the body. So before deciding which regulative practices to continue and which to drop, however, ISKCON devotees must first consider the example of and behavior will set forth newcomers. Since new devotees are always joining the society, it is important that the senior devotees encourage them by setting proper example. If leading devotees neglect practice required of novices, double standards in the society will result in confusion. Lord Chaitanya's mercy is the most indispensable item for spontaneous devotional service. And that mercy showers down on those who selflessly serve his mission. Aspirants for Raganuga Bhakti must carefully consider what is favorable for ISKCON and cultivate the spontaneous mood accordingly. So cultivate your own project where you can meditate, and you will be seeing the devotees only annually, some conjecture like Mayapur meetings are there. Just appear that time. Rest you will be absorbed in your. That's why Shivram Maharaj retired from GBC duties, and would come only once a year. One should restrict the traveling and preaching, and one should also, concentrate on an enormous project for Srila Prabhupada's pleasure. So, if leading devotees neglect practice required of novices, double standards in the society will result in confusion. Lord Chaitanya's mercy is most indispensable item for the spontaneous practice, and that mercy showers down those who selflessly serve his mission. Aspirants for Raganuga Bhakti must carefully consider what is favorable for ISKCON and cultivate the spontaneous mood accordingly. This concludes the discussion of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, first canto, second chapter, 296 verse. Now we will turn to the first of the three verses that paraphrased at the beginning of this discussion. In this verse, Rupa Goswami describes in more detail how spontaneous practitioners meditate on the service rendered by the Brajvasis who have captured their hearts. Krishnam smaranam janam chasya preshtham nija savhitam tat katharatas chasu kuryad vasam braje sada. A devotee should always reside in transcendental realm of Braj and always engage in Krishna smaranam janam chasya preshtham. The remembrance of Sri Krishna and his beloved associates by following in the footsteps of such associates and by entering under the eternal guidance, one can acquire an intense desire to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is spoken in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, first canto, second chapter, 294th verse. Devotees unable to live in Vrindavan should practice living there mentally. Even mental residence fulfills Rupa Goswami's instructions and make it possible to practice spontaneous devotional service anywhere in the world. How does a devotee remember Krishna and his associates? Since one cannot practice remembrance smaranam artificially, one must have two prerequisites: purity of the heart and suitable knowledge. Purity of the heart makes the mind peaceful enough to enter thoughts of Vrindavan. Knowledge of Brajvasis and pastimes, features, and qualities provides the subject matter in which to immerse the mind. In this regard, Srila Prabhupada was fond of quoting the following two verses from Narottam Das Thakur. Vishaya chadiya kabe shuddha be mana, kabe ham herab Shri Vrindavana. When the mind is completely purified, being freed from material anxieties and desires, then I shall be able to understand Vrindavan and the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, and then my spiritual life will be successful. Rupa Raghunatha Pade Haibe Akuti Kabe Hama Pujaba Se Yugala Piriti. When shall I be very much eager to study the books left by the 6 Goswamis, headed by Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. By their instruction, I shall be able to properly understand the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. This is in Prarthana of Narottam Das Thakur, first canto, third and fourth verse. Prarthana, first song, not canto. Third and fourth verse. So, devotees must first achieve freedom from material contamination by practicing step-by-step process of regulative devotion outlined by Rupa Goswami. The mind then purified, they can gain knowledge of Vrindavan from the books of the 6 Goswamis and their authorized followers in the line of our founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada. Attraction to a resident of Vrindavan develops in the stages. First, a general attraction for the particular devotional mood arises, perhaps friendship or conjugal love. Next, a specific attraction to the devotee who renders service in that mood develops. The last to awaken when the taste and attachment have matured is the attraction to a specific Vrajavasi. Then devotees evolve to ecstatic love, bhava bhakti. They are no longer at the stage of practice. Revelations confirms or modifies their spiritual identity and the particulars who they are following in Braja. Even after cultivating mountains of knowledge, however, devotees cannot remember Krishna and his associates without mental purity. The mind plays an essential role in remembrance and hence in spontaneous devotional service. Therefore, genuine Raganuga Bhakti cannot be imitated. Devotees either have control of their mind or they do not. Mental control and meditation are pillars of the Eightfold Yoga system. And as such, they play important role in Bhakti Yoga. Vaishnava Acharyas delineate 5 stages of absorption in the thoughts of Krishna, beginning with a hearing, Shravanam, and ending with attainment of one spiritual form, Apanna Dasha. The qualification to enter Krishna Lila forever. In spontaneous practice, the stages are remembrance of generally cultivated while performing japa or kirtan of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, then elaboration of all these different dashas that we discussed in the beginning, now they are coming to play part. So we will see tomorrow. Anybody has any question or comments? We are entering into the heart of spontaneous devotional service.
A question from Asitaraj Prabhu on the chat about Baba Viroda and Bhavi Pratikul. Does it mean that visiting Devya Darshan temples of South India, which are Vishnu forms, is Pratikul?
Bhajananandis may not acquire the spontaneous devotion as they are strictly not adhering to Lord Chaitanya's mission. Sridham. Bhava Virodha and Bhava Pratikul activities. Does that mean not visiting Divya Desham temples in South India, which are Vishnu forms? We go because we are simply developing in steady devotion. You know, you never know, our minds are not fixed, but we got the guidelines how to fix the mind. We are not that much yet taking serious activities in a particular mode. We are not selective. Actually, the role of spiritual master is very much essential in cultivating the different stages of attainment, like Apanna Dasha and others that we'll be discussing in detail. So there is nothing wrong to visit Divyadesham in early stages of, because that is, Divyadesham means Shanta Bhav, where Vishnu forms are there. Awe and reverence. At least once in a lifetime you should visit. Earlier the better. Then if we are advancing in Bhava, then we have to be Brajvasis. So even Dwarka pastimes are becoming, obstacles for a Brajvasi. They should not meditate on that. If you are in Vrindavan and want to develop, then develop according to that need of stage-wise development towards, Rupa Goswami's methodology. Anything else, Haribal?
Ujjwala Rasakya.
Jai Radhe.
Gurudev, pranams to you, Gurudev. This was so nice to hear the description, how Maharaj laid it out so clearly and you were explaining. This seems to be a very clear and detailed answer of how a sadhana bhakti can turn to a raga bhakti, to the raga bhakti. Those 2 points that are laid out, purity in the heart and the knowledge, required knowledge, those two. Not only it is laid out clearly, but it gives hope, Gurudev. So, hope and
Yes,
direction.
definitely.
Hope. Yes.
Actually, this should be the meditation
Yeah.
before we meditate on Radha and Krishna's pastimes.
Yes.
Because
yes.
to situate a particular position of meditation, it's a mental exercise, all right? And one must think, remember, and whichever is shooting, then we have to follow the internal bhajan and the footsteps of Rupa Goswami's meditation, and ultimately his worshipable deities.
Yeah. Yes, Gurudev. And this sounds like it is just so natural. It's not like, am I getting it or not? Is it right or not? It's just when it is happening, it is just so natural. And Maharaj, when he laid out the criteria, that purity in the heart and knowledge like that, so it doesn't seem like one has to really struggle a lot to find the direction or mix and match. None of those things are required. None of those things are required. It is like when the cooking is being done in the kitchen and we smell the aroma, it's very natural that we are just drawn to the aroma and go to the kitchen room. We don't have to ask.
A good comparison. Ah.
Yeah, but yeah, the whole explanation is going on so well, Gurudev. The struggle, the confusion of especially how the sadhana bhakti goes to spontaneous, not jumping clearly, no jumping, but also a clear direction of this is how you need to head. Like that it is being laid out exactly like the kitchen aroma thing. So thank you so much, Gurudev. Thank you.
So, if one decides to come to Vrindavan and settle in the later years, then they should bring this guideline along with them and start practicing to whichever inclination they have, and naturally inclined, not artificially, then just try out. But spiritual master is needed, to discuss this out, to verify this out. There's so many things, and there will be trial and error will be there. Well, that has been described in Harinam Chintamani. But at the same time, we'll say here, suppose if we have a different mode selected, but our practice is not suitable to do that. So the internal bhajan is bhajan pranali will be there to guide us.
Yes, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Anything else? Haribol.
Janeshwar.
You are not going to Vrindavan. You are coming to Thailand, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances for devotees. If you are there, Guru Maharaj, Thailand is also Vrindavan. It will be non-different. Wherever you are, wherever the worship is being done. Guru Maharaj, first of all,
outside facade is of Jaipur, Hawa Mahal, but inside is the temple mandap of Kusum Sarovar.
Wow. Still, the Vrindavan is there inside.
Yeah, that would be there something.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yes. Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. Guru Maharaj, now I was just meditating when you were speaking today. Ujjwala Rasagna Mataji that asked the question of why the sadhana bhakti, and we know the theory of the Raganuga sadhana bhakti, which we are discussing the spontaneity, devotional service seems spontaneous. Now, if one is practicing the Vaidhi sadhana bhakti in different levels, now from gradually elevating and taking up so much of services in the temple with some position, some time and responsibilities. Now, where is the transition that has to happen from the Vaidhi to the Raganuga? For example, there could be a head pujari. Now, head pujari is got a lot of responsibility, and then he will be head pujari and conducting so many, the services and organizing services and sometimes controlling the services. Now, if this continues till his age of 55, 60, now where is the transition? Should that be in an early stage, or should it be like a retirement stage? Like in a material world, we have a retirement, okay, the work and the retirement, and then there is a bit of leisure. So this, I guess, is also almost like get retired from all these Vaidhi and then slowly get transition into Raganuga. So now my question is, where is that transition that we need to look at.
No,
One can. Mm,
we are not advised to give up regulative services even in Raganuga Bhakti because we are mindful for the neophytes. We
yes,
should
Guru.
not set up a new trend. Prabhupada practiced chanting Hare Krishna. He was performing Aarti, he was coming, attending everywhere. So, even though he was Siddha, yet he performed for encouragement to the others.
See, if one is not able to enter into the spontaneity, where Prabhupada simply says that you chant 16 rounds and follow regulative principles, and then I will take you back to Godhead, if not from the front door, from the back door. So now, if one is not able to enter into the spontaneity, then what is going to happen?
Well, it's not what you call without maturity. In any case, any stage, it is not worthwhile to make a progress. Better muster around where we are supposed to, and that should be done under care of spiritual master. So he will understand.
Yes, perfect, Guru Maharaj. And this has always been my meditation, that how do we understand that spiritual maturity? Maturity is there in so many different stages, but spiritual
if it does not come as a proposal from the candidate, it will be secured. But when one is over enthusiastic and artificially want to project himself to enter into the Raga Bhakti, it discourages even spiritual master. Apani acharite sikhailo Bhagavad Dharma. Spiritual master will teach according to the development of one's stage of devotion. Suppose if somebody is struggling only in anarthas, gross anarthas, you know whom I am talking of. And if we encourage him, okay, take initiation, then you will be okay. Then actually it's a step which is in hurry you are taking. One must have developed the resolve to refrain from four regulative principles. So, like every stage has its maturity, and then there is a transit to enter into. Just like even the yugas, the deity worship is the process in Dwapar Yuga, not in Kali Yuga. Okay? But yet, because of transit is there, only 5,000 years out of 432,000 years of Kali Yuga to end, only 5,000. So it's an overlapping, There is influence of pure devotional service that was conducted in Dwapar Yuga. We are inheriting that. The temples are still existing, the old temples, but they are also systematically destroyed. Who did not destroy our temple? Buddhist did, Muslim did. And rest was finished by the Britishers also.
Yep.
But yet, temple worship is there going on. And it is reviving. And Prabhupada gives the time limit only of 10,000 years. So again, there will be no temples, no ISKCON, no books, and no Mahamantra even.
Mm.
So those who are seriously taking this movement, and then they will have to, become very single-minded, one-pointed devotion. Tivrena bhakti yogena. Tivra bhakti means single-minded. Yajeta purusham param.
Mm. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you, Maharaj. Very nice conclusion. So if anyone prematurely try to even enter, becomes disqualification for him to enter into spontaneity.
A wrong step, a
Mm.
slip off is there for sure.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Sharat Chandra Purnima is telling. My question is that while serving the deities, what should be the ideal mood of a devotee? Serving means servitorship. Awe and reverence is the mood. But when you become mature in awe and reverence, then it becomes a natural inclination for you to do favorable services. You will become more careful to avoid all the offenses and deity worship. When you are also so much fixed, then naturally these are your most worshipable deities, and you will be putting your life and developing the intimacy with the deities. Of course, servitorship is the foundation even in fraternity or vatsalya or madhurya. Service will be there. Were not Nanda and Yashoda serving Lord Krishna? With loving attitude of parents, they were serving Lord Krishna. Our mood of worship should be always supported by the service accordingly. Your activities of Vaidhi sadhana bhakti need to be dovetailed according to the 6 criteria that secure your transition to the spontaneous devotion. Bhava, Bhavamaya, Bhava Sambandhi, Bhava Anukul, Bhava Virod, and Bhava Pratikul. If these 6 criteria are not adopted, we are still very much Vaidhi sadhak. Yeah. Anything else?
Sudama Krishna Prabhu.
Hmm?
Sudama Krishna Prabhu. Unmute Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you. Maharaj, my question was that while we were reading the book, there comes a point that the devotees, even in the bhava stage, they worship their deities, Shaligram Shilas. But again, I have heard many times that devotees quoting a particular book by Srila Raghunath Dasa Goswami that one should not even worship Lakshmi Narayana, something like that. But again, we see that so many devotees in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, they used to worship Shalikram Shilas, the Goswamis, and even in the Maharaj Yashoda Mata. So, how do we understand this thing?
I saw Indra Prabhu worshipping his saligram as Radha Krishna. And the whole mood was there. So, in Vraja, Shalagram worship is continued. But the original form of Shaligram is, of course, Vishnu Chakra should be there. But Krishna also held the wheel of the broken chariot as chakra to kill Bhishmadev. So the mood will be completely different. But in Vrindavan, we have to stick to this mood of Radha Krishna. One should not perform the awe and reverence bhakti, which is belonging to Lakshmi Narayan. That mood is completely different. With awe and reverence only.
Maharaj,
Yes?
when we first got that little shaligram from Rajshekar Prabhu, you sent me to Mukunda Datta to ask how to worship him. And he told me that if shaligram is on the altar with Krishna, you can treat him as Krishna.
If Shalagram is on the altar along with Krishna, then he should be worshipped as Krishna, not Narayan. Got the idea?
I say that Adi Prabhu says it's difficult to worship.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes, it is difficult to worship Gopu in awe and reverence, but you must have started before with awe and reverence and then quickly come to the understanding because of his Gopu's nature is reflecting in our devotional service, and he will ask the way he wants, so he will be happy. Worshipper of deities, they say daily worship with all the attention to their limbs. And first of all, they think it is real and very delicate. So they do not use pressures, and wrong applications, and it changes the mood otherwise. One of the pujari of my Srinathji in New Vrindavan, about I think 5-6 years back, devotees complained that this devotee wants to bathe Srinathji in fragrant oils. Bathe? I said, where it is written? He wants to massage the whole body with so much oil. But it changed the mood of Srinathji because the features were changing. Why features were changing? Because oil was dissolving the paint. So one should be very careful. We have to tell him to stop this habit. Haribol, anybody? Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We'll see you tomorrow.